In October 2010, the U.S. Embassy to the Holy See partnered with the Vatican's Gregorian University to bring a group of interfaith leaders to Rome for a conference to discuss interreligious work. The Christian, Muslim, and Jewish panelists focused on 3 areas: ethical development, caring for the environment, and conflict prevention and resolution. The conference was entitled Building Bridges of Hope, Success Stories and Strategies for Interfaith Action. Its focus was on action, not just words, in keeping with President Obama's call to service.
Himself a product of a multicultural, multi-religious family, the president learned the lessons of interfaith action at an early age. These lessons are apparent in his administration's approach to interfaith issues. The president believes in a healthy discussion of faith in a pluralistic society. He and his administration encouraged religious people to translate their concerns into universal values during public debate and demand sincere respect on all sides.
The Care for the Environment panel discussed how the 3 Abrahamic faiths approach climate change and related challenges. For all 3 faiths, care for the earth is a responsibility their Creator has bestowed on humankind. Speakers included Fazlun Khalid of the Islamic Foundation for Ecology and Environmental Sciences, Father Joseph Rozansky, head of the Franciscan Office for Justice, Peace, and the Integrity of Creation in Rome, and Rabbi Warren Stone.
We are caretakers of God's creation. We must never forget that along with the creatures of the earth, the fish of the seas, the birds of the air, we too are part of the great web of life. We are interdependent for our common survival.
The panel on equitable and ethical development emphasized the moral imperative to improve the quality of human life everywhere.
Caritas and Veritate and the other encyclicals force us to think about a change from the ancient traditions of charity, which were about the goodness of the heart, about compassion, but which assumed that poverty shall always be with us, because poverty had always been a part of life, to a new paradigm where what we are doing is about justice and rights and fairness.
Also during this panel, Adnan Durrani spoke of his private sector experiences, which showed him that promoting development is a moral responsibility not only within Islamic tradition, but is also a part of Catholic social teaching and Talmudic law.
My journey in social responsibility was driven by mostly my Jewish partners who talked about their faith and how social responsibility was a really strong Talmudic tradition as well. So again, what are those values in social responsibility that people of faith share? Egalitarianism, care for the poor, well-being of the community, and social justice.
Joshua Dubois, the director of President Obama's Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships at the White House, delivered the keynote speech over lunch. His office taps into the resources and energies of faith-based organizations and local communities to bring about change and renewal at the grassroots level.
Across all of our religious traditions, we face tremendous challenges across the globe, some too daunting to fully comprehend. 33 million people racked by HIV/AIDS, 140 million orphans worldwide, religious tensions from the Middle East to Europe to the United States, a warming climate, frequent natural disasters from Haiti to Pakistan, and so many points in between. If we are to tackle these challenges, we must somehow find a way to put aside religious difference and work together.
The last panel of the day on conflict resolution addressed how to move forward in peace when the pain of conflict is seared across generations.
Israel-Palestine conflict, to talk about 1948, to talk about the Holocaust, these are terribly complex things. And yet somehow these issues have to be dealt with. And when they're dealt with, strangely enough, associations get developed. Your grandmother did that. That reminds me of a story of my grandfather. Or even the reality, you Palestinians, your grandmothers and grandfathers lost their homes. But I don't have a grandmother and grandfather, and none of my friends have, because they were killed in the Holocaust. And then there's always a moment of silence and deep empathy.
Archbishop Elias Shakur, a Palestinian Christian leader in the Palestinian territories and Israel, shared how his Catholic faith allowed him to commiserate with others of different backgrounds.
The day I discovered I was not born a Christian, I was overjoyed. I don't know what about you here. Were you born Christians, Jewish or Muslims, or you were like me? I was born a baby. And only a babe. And when I look at my left hand, I see Dr. Hillel Levine. I say, this is another baby-born human being. Mrs. Rahman, she is also baby-born, and I'm happy.
The conference laid the foundations for constantly improving work among faith groups to address today's global challenges. Dr. Marian Diaz urged the group to stay in touch via a collaborative information-sharing website, or a wiki, on interfaith action created by the Embassy to the Holy See. She urged every person to identify a problem, then start with small interfaith steps to address that challenge, because every small action makes the difference.
It was the Good Samaritan who crossed over to the other side of the road, who was able to see the reality of the man who was suffering, and then to respond to it and take action to alleviate that suffering and to care for him.